Hello and welcome back to the bi-weekly now UB. We are on episode number 15, guys. 1-5. How's it going? Ian, Tyler, CJ, what's up, guys?
We hear back from the double sector
That's right.
weekend.
Yeah, we got two sectors. There was a regional, and with us is someone that you may now recognize, if you didn't already, and that is the I would say hottest player, at the moment, but that's
That's kind
barely
of
not
preach
true
that.
as we are, Justin has been overshadowed his incredible run of like 25 and 2 in Swiss in the last two events.
Yeah, it's
Sectors, by the
hard to
way.
make a name for myself when Bobby Sapphire is like going nuclear right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been sweet. I love it. I haven't lost so many non-Bobbies the last couple weeks.
Yeah, man, it's quite the run. It's been awesome to watch. You and Ian and Tyler, all three played in both sectors in the U.S. in the last 2 weeks, so we'll have plenty to say about that, how they were run, decks, matchups, things like that. Plenty to talk about there. CJ and I will chime in as we see fit, but we, of course, did not play in any sector. CJ, how's Pumpkin Fest, buddy?
Oh, Pumpkins was great. Really,
Yeah,
really, really good time.
pounded
Well,
some pumpkin
I
beer.
got to watch. I got to watch two of my teammates absolutely crush it. Right. So
Yeah,
I mean,
man,
that
that
was
was
great.
that was like
Great to see.
my favorite part of both weekends. Is like I had a lot going on, but anytime I could watch the stream and help the team out in the Discord and team chat, like I was in there, and like it was so fun to watch. And Ian followed, like following Ian and Tyler as well. It's just always rooting for you guys, and it was just awesome to see the great performances. So
Well, it was
congrats
super,
all
it was
around.
super cool to see you and CJ and Ophir and Alex. You already have top, and Steve too. You already have sector top eights. So like last week in Portland when Mike and I were going for our first, and Mike obviously won um, the premiere event. But it was cool to see you guys being like, "Yeah, go and like get yours" and stuff like that. That was really cool. So we've now got of the original KTOD team 7 out of 8 with sector.
Yeah,
Four.
sector or a regional top eight, which is insane. So
It's wild.
hopefully we can get Maddie in there
Maddie
somewhere, and
makes it a perfect score, and
yeah,
then we get all
yeah,
the newcomers with the secret sort of collaboration. Then we'll hopefully that'd be really awesome. Get
that'd be
everyone.
awesome. Yeah, but tonight we are going to kind of jump into some categories all over the place. There were a lot of things going on the past few weeks, but the very first thing I want to talk about is, of course, the two sectors. Just because you guys were there, so we'll start with Portland. That one, I believe, and someone could, kind of chime in if I'm wrong, but that one was run pretty well, like aside from the venue, right? Ian, like there were no issues with prizes, anything like that.
So they didn't have the Yaddle promo, like
Okay.
the
And the
participation
Anakin.
promo, and then none of the Anakin promos, including day two, and I believe the top eight ones. Like
Yeah, I didn't
Justin, you
get. They
didn't get
actually
yours on the spot, right?
no, they had him in Philly, which was actually a pleasant surprise. They were like, "Hey,
Yeah,
come get your top eight stuff, including the Adults." They had everything.
yeah.
What they didn't have in Portland, you had to show your ID and just get your package, but they didn't have anything. Um,
The
and
messed up part about that though is that they didn't even tell people ahead of time that they were gonna have it in Portland. So like, or
In
sorry, in
Philly.
Philly. So like, I wonder if there would have been more people that showed up to Philly if they knew that their
that's
promos
interesting.
were gonna be there. Like,
Yeah, they just like
it
on the
was a pleasant
loudspeaker.
surprise, but like, it shouldn't be a surprise. They should still announce that
Yeah.
that's gonna be there.
It was just like
Yeah.
randomly during rally start of round two. They're like, if you guys had Portland promos you were waiting on, you can come up and collect them now instead of getting mailed. And so it was nice, but definitely a
That
little weird that we didn't have any forthcoming information.
that being said, like, okay, the promos weren't there, but the prizes in general were pretty impressive. Like, I don't pay attention to like I don't like refreshing the FFG website to see like what the prizes are.
Right.
But it's like uncut sheet. I didn't realize that. Like I was in the elevator going back up to the room and I saw the picture on Discord of someone holding the uncut sheet and I was like, "Whoa, was that like a giveaway? That's awesome." And Mike's like, "No, we like
Won
we
them.
made day
Yeah.
two.
One
Like
of them.
we have
Top
those."
64s. Yep.
Yeah, and like the foil one, I didn't know that one was coming. That one was cool too.
Yeah, that one was
The
top
day two
16, right?
mat, like they just
One.
dropped it on like on day two you were playing, they just like dropped a mat on our table, like the Mace Windu, Yoda, like whatever that like conglomeration is. So like
Yeah.
they've come a long way from the age of like Dr. Evazan promos.
Yeah.
Like they are the swag is good. Yes, they didn't have it, But like we came home, we actually had to like leave some of the prizes in Portland and have Sunny like mail them out to us because like we
Yeah.
could put a an uncut sheet like on the plane. So I was pretty happy, and then seeing people excited about the prizes was really cool too.
Well, okay, so before we jump into like the meta talk and decks and things like that, let's just focus on this prizing thing. So, Portland, they didn't have Yoddles. I don't know anything about Philly, but I know that Spain, they didn't have
Philly
like
had it.
anything.
Well,
Like it
John,
was.
I still even haven't gotten my like initiative stuff from the last two from
That's crazy.
Oh, the
Minnesota
the
and from Denver.
tokens.
Yeah, I never
Well,
got.
they sent me 2 sets, so
Yeah, you probably took. You
if you
probably
want
have
them,
mine.
you're more than
He
welcome
probably has
to,
yours.
to
You
mine.
probably have mine.
Yeah,
They sent them to Pumpkin Fest. They're just like waiting
yeah,
for you.
there's waiting at
If they were at
Pumpkin
Pumpkin
Fest.
Fest, I would have seen them.
So,
Okay.
okay, CJ, let's start with you on this one here. So, what do you so, I was just saying, no Yoddles in Portland. I don't know if they were like missing anything in Philly, but in Spain they didn't
Everything
have
was in
like
Philly.
anything. They didn't have like the black packs. They didn't have
I-
like the promos. I don't think
Prize wall.
yeah, prize wall stuff
I-
just wasn't there.
What-
So
I don't understand. I don't get it. Right. Like,
right, yeah, that's what I was
how
going to ask you.
many? I've been to like, and I even think I've been. Obviously, I know Justin's gone to a ton. I know we've all played other games, but like, I can't think of a Magic GP where I walked in. They're like, "Oh, we were supposed to give you this foil Umezawa's Jete, but like, actually, we don't have them, so we're just gonna mail it." Like, what? That would never. That never. happened.
Well, Magic, no, but almost every other game, Tata will know this. Like you'd get the pat on the back at the end of an event at like a WoW TCG event, or like let's not even get into like spoils. Like I think I'm owed money for spoils. Like
Yeah, I
there's
think I am
definitely
too,
stuff out
actually.
there
Yeah.
that hasn't been paid out.
Yeah.
So Magic and Flesh and Blood are like run really pristine in terms of prizes. Like you're gonna get like your check in 5 weeks or
But-
whatever.
And I
Yeah.
that's true, but like this is a big company that's been around for a long time that's done many games, right? Like this
Yeah.
isn't like that like mom and pop shop that did spoils. This isn't like a video game company that hired some ex Magic pros to design a card game, right? This is like a company, a big company, an international company owned by Asmodee that, right? Like
Yeah.
this shouldn't be happening. It
No,
just like,
they
and we just
announced
keep
these
hearing like
events.
different excuses. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's because of like tariffs, and I was like, no, it's not, because it's
No,
happening on both
It's
sides of
not.
the
That's just like a
it's like, this
perfect
is
like
BS.
scapegoat
Yeah.
right now. Like so, it's like they announced these in advance, which is like a whole nother issue. And like they knew the prizes months ago. Like they had to get them printed, so they knew what they were. Like how hard is it to just get the promos to the place that they belong in time? Like we're on season 1.
Well,
They've
hey,
run what 4, 6, what
you
6
didn't even
events
bring
in
up
season
you
0,
didn't
and
even
now
bring up the worst part. Like I know they're getting refunded, but part of this was for a VIP package, and people paid a lot of money.
and they're still giving them all the stuff. Like they're refunding them. They're like, just kidding. Take the refund, but you're also still getting everything that we said you were.
Which is insane.
It's like what? It's like it's just insane. But I mean, Justin, do you have anything to add on that? I mean, is there anything that they can do better other than just
I think
do it better?
like one of the things is like there's not like it's not a rapid fire of events. Like this is the first event since Worlds. So they probably, I mean, hopefully they learn from this. They did learn, like I said, they have like the Dr. E stuff, and they upped the prizes, right? So like it's been a year on the first wave, and everyone was like, these prizes are awful. You guys need to up the ante. And they really upped the ante in terms of promos, playmats, and just like what they're pushing out
Yeah,
there.
sheets, things
So
like that. Yeah.
shoot.
Like
I
the
never
silver packs and black packs coming back for their like respective sector regional. Great ad. Like
right.
the relatively good card choices within them, but also
Absolutely.
like you could sell the packs for a decent amount of money, or you could open them and try to get the legendaries and sell those. And like
Yeah.
pretty much everyone on my team that went to these events, like who wanted to sell their stuff to pay for their events, they made money on all.
It's a profitable
Yeah.
event. Obviously, Mike and I,
Both events were profitable. Like you don't even have to be even top. Like as long as you got
right.
like top 256 and got like the 4 packs, you were making 200,
200 bucks,
300.
yeah.
And I would say like that's even considering like when we sold our stuff at Portland, we were basically selling under the market because they went up within that week, and then
Right.
by Philly, it was almost like I think you could sell silver packs probably for like $50 at the venue to people who wanted them,
Yeah.
and then it was like closer to $80 to $100 by Philly. So
Yeah.
like
Right.
And
that's
that
awesome.
started
Because
at
we haven't
Worlds,
had
right?
that really.
Like
Yeah, it
like
started at
Worlds
Worlds.
was the first event where it's like, hey, we got these packs that actually have value now. And
Right.
It's
so
great that they're
I'm great to
desirable.
see that they're still, yeah, exactly. I'm glad
Yeah,
to
and
see
it's
that they're
not
still
dropping off.
desirable. There's still a market for them. People are buying them. Like that's the main thing is that the single promos, like I still have my raise from the original and season 0. Like I can't find a buyer
Yeah.
for them because there's just one promo card. So I
Right.
think that having these packs is just a really great idea, and I'm glad that they still do it. It's just they have to do a better job of actually, you know, having them at the events, right?
Just get ahead of it. Like, just understand. Like, all right, so there's a sector or regional plan for they're going to announce at the end of the month from the set 6 ones.
Yeah.
Like whoever is sort of the point person there, you're going to have it in January, February, I'd imagine. Maybe December,
Yeah,
but
probably January. Yeah.
probably like 3 months from now. So just start thinking, like, go through your checklist and be like, all right, what's my timeline on promos? And if that deadline is like is sort of like close, and you know this from your work, John, like you need to like put pressure on people. Be like, all right, give me the, let's move this along. Like, we shall double our efforts.
Yeah.
Moff to Jared needs to start moving, right? Like,
Yeah.
we have to put pressure on just like the scope and the timeline, because they've got it right with the actual prizes.
Yeah.
Now they just make sure that everyone gets them, so you don't actually have a bad experience. Like someone's like wants to fly to Bilbao to get black packs and then just doesn't get any, and then you're like,
Yeah.
man, I shouldn't have never booked that flight. Like,
And-
I plan on traveling to Europe for the sectors and regionals in 2026.
Yeah.
And it would be a bummer if they didn't have the prizes.
Yeah, it's just I don't know whose fault it is, be it the company or like Star City or Fanfinity.
It was
or
a
whatever the
really
company is.
tight deadline because at Portland, like around, I don't know, remember like on Saturday or Sunday, they said they may show up Sunday. They may show up the next day.
Right.
So I imagine that those cards came in like a day or two probably
Well, that's
after the
what they had.
event.
everything
Maybe.
for
Like,
Philly.
look,
Like-
I work in that world, right? I tell people, yeah, wait till tomorrow all the time.
I have faith. The fact that they had it all at Philly, I would like to say that they
what I'm
were
assuming-
thinking-
Everything in
What I'm
Philly.
assuming happened is that someone from Star City stayed back because the delivery was happening anyways, and since they're just traveling to the next event the next
Yeah, they
weekend
just
to
brought
do
it.
that, they just brought it with them once they got the delivery.
Yeah.
So it could have been Wednesday, but like that one person who stayed behind to collect everything was just
Yeah, I mean,
waiting
I don't
for it.
believe for a second that like they were on their way. Like, I don't have that kind of faith in them because that's just business speak for it. We don't have it, and just leave me alone. So I'll tell you what you want to hear. So
The one thing about the prizes that for both of the North American events that I think was a little silly, that I imagine that both Corey and the new FFG reps that were at Philly that probably heard a lot about, was the prize wall tickets. They
Yeah.
gave us for entry 100 tickets, and then both main events did not get any more tickets.
Anymore.
It was only side events. So it was just very weird that you got some and then you did not get anything else at the end of the day.
I thought they fixed that same thing happened when we were in Denver, and they
yeah.
Also, stop giving us these bags.
these bags, yeah,
Don't want
yeah.
Yeah,
these
we don't
bags
need any more.
anymore.
Or
I give
save
it to my wife,
15
like,
minutes by
"Nah,
putting
she
this
puts the
stuff in the
groceries
bag
in 'em.
before
They're
giving it
great."
to you. Like, it's just
So many bags. Like,
I
they're
don't
the
know.
Whole Foods bags. I don't want them.
Hey, a friend of mine, Dusty, who went to Philly, was saying that like they wasted so much time in the player meeting by like handing out pens. They took like
Yes.
10 minutes to hand out pens.
They
took,
don't
like,
fill the bags up.
Yeah,
John, that's the
just-
worst part, is they have the bags as part of the prize, and they don't fill it with the stuff.
yeah. It
On
just,
discussion of running the events, though,
Mhm.
starting with Denver or starting with Portland, I think was probably the best run, like most well-run event I have played at. Like it felt like the day was burning through. Like rounds were starting and ending very quickly. I was surprised at how fastly we were just going through 9 rounds. Philly, on the other hand, was a lot slower. I don't necessarily know if it was just rounds were going to time every round, or it was just because
Probably
of
the
the field was
format,
going
yeah.
slower. But
Limited,
it
yeah.
felt like it was like rounds were taking an hour and a half to like it was an exceedingly long amount of time that we were sitting in
Yeah.
between each round.
yeah, day one was a long day. I could tell. just
But
from
that's
following
also like,
everything.
it could be just a feel, because it was one extra round and you had the sealed reg and you had the sealed build. So I do like, I think I want to give them credit for both events, other than like the Portland venue, just like the way the tables and like it was so sort of crammed in there.
It got so hot by the end of day
It was
one.
it
Yeah,
was
I heard it
brutal.
was
It was
hot.
sweltering. It was like 15 degrees difference between the actual room we were playing in and
the
the
hallway,
hallway just
yeah.
outside it.
Yeah, we thought the heat was on at one point, but like pairings were smooth. Like the way that they ran the tournament was smooth. I had a weird glitch where like I lost a game and went to like table 300. That was really strange. But
Yeah, I noticed that when I was following Melee. I was like, wait, where's Justin?
not really sure what happened there.
Yeah.
I'm
My
gonna
opponent
guess.
didn't have a disability or anything, so it was very strange. But I thought like overall, and one thing I want to shout out FFG for Philly, and I thought about this for a while. I was like, are they going to mess up the called draft? Like that's something that Magic you kind of take for granted, and they did it great. Like both the call draft that was on the loudspeaker, like when someone was like would mess up, they paused it. Like a
Yeah.
table, like one
That's
of the
good.
individual tables messed up, so they had one call draft on 5 pods, which I thought was very impressive. And then the top 8 draft was done really well as well. So like I got to give them like a 9.7 out of 10 in terms of like the way that they handled limited. I hadn't seen it before. Like they had the stamps, they had the packs, they had these cool little plastic boxes for the packs. The only thing I would say is the reason why it's not a straight 10 out of 10 is they didn't have round tables. But other than that,
Yeah,
I think it was
that's
really,
dumb.
really.
So I do want to add one thing, and you just kind of reminded me, is that day 2. So at Philly, the cut from day 1 to day 2 was 7-2. Okay.
Yep.
What happened was there were 36 or 38 players who ended
38,
up,
yeah.
making the cut. So in Spain, they had something similar. They had like 30 some players, but they had like weird tables of like pods of 10, which is insane. Okay.
Metric system.
Yeah, and then in Philly, what happened is that they had pods of 8 and one pod of 6. I mean, that's a whole nother story that we'll probably talk about later. Someone got screwed and got ninth because their pod was 6, and they just got pared down a bunch. Like, how hard is it to do a cut to top 64 to have 8 pods of 8, or or just add people to get to 40 and do
The
5
weird thing
pods of 8?
is like you can't, if you determine it on Saturday, there you could still have a no show or someone who just
You
like didn't show
could,
up.
but like that's not as bad as being like, okay, here's a pot of 6. Like, I don't
Well,
know.
so the thing is though is that if you just cut to top 64, someone like myself who was 63rd, like I just wanted to do it so that I could have real competitive limited practice because this is going to be a format at Worlds.
Right.
Even though I knew that even if I drafted and went 3-0 in my pod, I was never making top 8. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I could like go up from 63rd to top 32 or maybe top 16 if I get lucky. But like, one, it's just really good limited practice for all of the competitors who want it. 2, if there are no shows, it will, instead of affecting a pod that could potentially have top 8
Yeah, right,
competitors in
that's
it,
true.
it would be the pods at the bottom, which they can't make top 8 anyways. So if someone's going to have the 6-person or 7-person draft pod, let it be someone who's never making top 8 anyways.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you this to jump onto what Ian's saying. I don't know where this presumption came from that if you day 2 and you go undefeated, that you have to have a guaranteed slot at top 8, where that came from.
Denver.
Especially now that they have good prizes. Like if say you had day 2 was 128 people, right?
Mhm.
And think of how many Magic GPs where you'd go to and you'd say, "Oh, I made the second day," and you were happy about it. Maybe you get a second promo. They've got mats now.
Right.
You can get top 64 and try to play for the uncut sheet. But you would say things like, "Oh, I couldn't make top 8, but I'm still alive for cash."
Right.
Cash would be 64. I just don't understand this sort of like, oh, it has to be the mathematical formula where if I go 3-0 or 5-0 or whatever on the second day, that I have to be live for top 8. Like I just
Yeah, I
don't.
think
I don't
Denver
Yeah.
kind of set
It
that
was-
precedent, and because
It
they
makes no
wanted
sense.
that to happen.
Well,
But
it was
then
Denver
it
was
was-
a specific situation because there were not enough rounds to do it, and so
Right.
top 64 was cut, and there were still people that got tiebreakered at X and 2 that were like
that didn't
65th and
right.
higher.
Well,
And
then
so
no, that
they-
wasn't Denver. That one was Richmond.
Well, that
'cause
did
my
happen
buddy
at
was
Denver as well.
66.
I'm pretty
He was 6-2.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
whole
They
nother
did have in
issue.
Denver as well.
Yeah.
No, Denver was Denver was similar to what Philly was. So for Denver,
Okay.
there was it was 9 rounds and then 2 rounds. The
Yeah.
thing that people were upset about was that it was 9 and 2 for a constructed event.
Yeah.
Like that just didn't make any sense. You
No,
could have just
yeah.
done 8 and 3 and it would have been a way better experience for people. The real thing was that once that happened, I think Wu was actually one of these people,
Yeah,
right?
he
was
was. Yeah, he got
7-2.
like 12 or something.
And then he went 3-0, got 12th. And I think a lot of the feedback people said was like, it's kind of weird that happened. And
Yeah.
it was mostly because there was only 2 rounds the second day, but there was 3 rounds.
Why is that weird?
Or 9 rounds.
Well,
It was. I think this was like more of like the general Swoo sphere. Like it wasn't like someone saying like this is we must riot because of this. I think the general structure was messed up for being 9-2. Like that just didn't make any sense.
So
And I think people just wanted more people to go over to day 2.
I know what Justin's saying, and like my response is that at Denver they wanted people to be able to make top 8 that made day 2 because they didn't have any extra prizes. Then they like eventually added like if you make top 16 you get this, this, and this. If you make top 64 you get this, this, and this. So like at a Magic event like you were saying, you have other things to play for. Like in Denver you had jack shit. Like
That's a good point.
if
Now that you have to think,
if you made day 2
Yeah,
and did like a no fear and went undefeated and got 12th place, you wasted 5 hours of your life. Like you got nothing.
there's no prizes.
Yeah.
I think, although it's funny because Ophir actually did qualify for Worlds from that. Because they had the pass down structure.
got
I
passed
think they
down.
should actually more people in day 2 is going to make more people happy. Not necessarily people like us who are like trying to grind points or trying to be like get ready for Worlds. But I think like what's the downside right now at the cut being X3?
Oh, I would also be fine with that.
Yeah.
That would
moms
solve
and,
all the issues
more
at once.
dads
Yeah.
take their kids are like making. Like, I knocked out a guy who was with his kid. He like started off undefeated, and then like he was probably pretty disappointed to finish 6-3. Like, get that guy in the second day. He gets to draft. He gets to have fun. You add what, like 5 or 6 tables of draft. They come back.
I would argue too that like that also lets people try to get top 64, and then like that is now like that top 64 for these events is the actual like line now, because that's where you get 15 points or whatever it is, right? Towards qualifying for Worlds. So like let people try to fight for that on day 3, not just cut it and make it what it is.
Bingo. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, I do think that works, but there is like that group of people, and this isn't us, right? But that is the group of people that if they're not getting additional prizing going in the day 2 like that, and they don't think they can really crack that top 64, they want, to Tyler's point, those extra tickets that they're not going to get from doing that. And then we're going to want to go to the side events and that kind of stuff on the second day.
But they can do better by just adding more prizes, right?
Oh, 100%.
When you cut to X3, the number is going to go up to like 100 or something.
103 was Philly.
Yeah,
so great. They can't make up their freaking minds because like first they said like after Denver they're like, oh shit, we want more people to make day 2, so they made these changes for Richmond and for the regional, which was great. They had more people on day 2, and now they went back to where there's like 30 people making day 2. Like that's stupid. Like that's not
500 people, 30 people made the cut.
Yeah.
If you added X3 and you had 50 more people make it or 60 more people make it, maybe you sell a little bit less on like prize wall tickets and side events. But all of those people go home. They go to their locals. They say day 2.
Like, hey, I made day 2.
Well,
or January.
Have a mat that says like day 2 or something on it.
And they're going to the next one. They're going to the next sector. They're excited to play the game. They're actually building a local scene because now they get to become like the masters of who played. Maybe they play someone who like is X2 and then loses, right? And then they play someone who's really good and they like get to beat them and they get to tell the story of like, this was the day that I slayed Tyler from McClunky and like he was crying and like I high-fived my friends and we just totally crushed him.
Well, I'm glad you brought that point up, Justin, because this is something that I heard from several people, and I don't know if any of us would have been involved because we're not really our jam, but I heard that the side events and the prize walls, especially in Bilboa, was run like terribly. Like they had no real system to queue the side events.
I don't think they've had a good side events queue in any event ever.
Exactly, but that's one of those things that was terrible at Worlds. Like it was really bad at Worlds, and that is your core group, right? Let's be honest. If 30 people are making day 2, the other 570 people, 470 people, wherever it is, they're doing the side events.
Maybe they should just scrap prize wall and just like do the thing where they hand out silver packs and hand out promos for like layers. I mean,
I know the promo event for day 2 was huge because like
it was like
100. It always is.
It always is.
I played in it. It was fine. It ran completely well. Like there was
CJ
no
played in that
in
Denver, I think, and it was like it was huge. It was really good. It was great. So
It's really good. But then at Worlds, right? Like I scrubbed out of Worlds and couldn't even play a side event. Like
yeah,
physically could
yeah.
not play one.
I had a free
not an
draft
option for me.
voucher. You know, CJ
Right.
did too. We had free draft vouchers that we couldn't even use because like they
Waited
couldn't
in
figure out
line
their
for like
lines.
3 hours on the last day to get just
Yeah.
to turn in our tickets. It's like,
So-
what is like, yeah. But I just my
I think
concern
they'll get
is
better with that.
you say they get better, but it
They
keeps
have
happening.
been okay. Yes, it keeps happening. Different things keep happening, but
happening.
stuff has been getting better. It
Stuff
has
has
not
been
been getting perfectly, but everything has always been. I am the FFFG show for right now. Things have been getting better. The prizes, they made the promos and everything a lot better. The events still were a little weird, but besides Portland went great for the main event. I did not play any side events there. The side event for Philly, at least the pro event ran great. But Bao, I have no explanation for that one. I don't know if that's an OPE or an FFG. That
Right.
event, we'll talk more, was very bad. And I would
it's
like to
always
say
as we say
that
in the
Galactus will make it better.
Discord, it's like one step forward, two steps back, and it's like they're like, oh, it's season 1, so we're going to get better. Then like Tyler's saying they are. I don't see it. I wasn't at these events, so I don't know for sure. But just from what I can tell from the like the stream, and this is not a knock on late night and Loopy at all, but the stream quality for Portland because of the internet was like unwatchable. So like I don't know if like FFG or someone needs to step up and help with that. Philly was great, and I think that they did help. For
I mean, Tim
for
and
Philly.
Claire just
Tim and
like
Claire did an
Yeah.
amazing job, but also FFG paid a lot of money on union fees so they
Right,
could even
exactly.
stream in the first place,
Exactly.
which was a big thing.
Yeah.
It's the first time they actually put money in to actually help, and it was a
Shout
large
out for
sum.
that for sure.
Yeah, shout out to that. That they
That's
deserve
great.
credit for that. They
So that's
deserve
just some feedback, for the events. But to talk about the actual events, we can jump into Portland, right away. So I do want to call out Thork a little bit because in his video, he had this huge graphic that was like the Europeans are more likely to play in like more diverse decks. All right. I'm like, that's a kind of wild assumption that like it's more diverse in Europe. So I went into Swoobase and I looked up the top 5 played decks in Portland compared to the top 5 played decks in Spain. All right. They are exactly the same. Exactly. Han, Boba Fett, Han, Cad Bane,
Boba
Sabine.
still.
Those 5 decks made up like over like 50% of the whole meta in both events. So it's not like the Americans are scared to play something off meta. Mike won with Palpatine.
Yeah, I was just about to say Mike won
And
with like
Towers and Red won in Europe as well. So
Yeah.
like the
So
decks
like
other-
look, we're not scared to play off meta. It's just like we have huge teams in the US, like giant teams. So like we all test together. So if someone takes like 6 copies of the same deck, it's not like we're not diverse. That's just because we think that's the best deck.
Although
So
here at the KTOD we don't follow that practice. We test together, but we all play different things. So
That-
We had
that's
four
true.
in the
you
top
say
eight
that, but you had
meeting
a
with
lot
4
of you had
different
a
decks.
hard one.
I don't think we've ever played like the same deck. Like Alex and I played the same deck,
Yeah.
and Sunny also. But that was like the most we've had. It was like the most consistent
But-
we've had.
Look,
I
even
did
even
wanna
at the
call
Bothan
that out.
network where we try to all play the same deck when we have something spicy.
You guys usually have
it's-
like 2 or 3 different decks.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
still
not like-
only like half of us
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
bring that deck. Like,
Right.
trust me, I wish every single player had
We've
played
never had a team
Kylo at Worlds.
Yeah,
We KTOD has never had a team deck.
never,
Closest is
yeah.
like the
Sabine,
Love
yeah.
Child of
Yeah, that's
DJ
probably
Mike.
that's probably
only
the
been
closest one. But like, let's just talk about the Portland meta. So like, the most played deck by far was Han 2. All right. So I mean, I know after the event, people were like, "Oh, why didn't they ban Han 2? He's so unbalanced. His conversion rate, blah 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 blah." Like, I don't think Han 2 is really that broken. I mean, yes, he's a very 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 good deck. He keeps making top 8s. It's probably the best deck, but I don't think it's like some like boogeyman that needs banned out of the format. Now, for some reason, and we talk about this every episode, probably the 15th time in 15 episodes.
Oh, don't say it.
Why are people still playing this Boba Fett deck?
Dude, they just wanted practice before they
For set
printed
6.
Cinta,
Yeah.
so
before
that
it
when
gets
they
good.
now
Oh my
have Cinta
God.
and their deck is maybe okay to play,
And
that-
topple.
that they
Topple
have,
is
yeah,
Cinta.
yeah, that they actually have some practice in it. They know the lines.
37 Boba Fett decks had a win rate of like 40% or something ridiculous.
47%.
Yeah, it's like
you see them in the
why?
graphics, but you like don't see them at the
And the
table.
players
No.
that did well with
It-
Boba that went like advancing went
on-
37.
We
even
know
worse.
you know why it is, right? It's because when you play it online and when you play it at your locals, it wins. Because you're giving your opponent a decision every turn. And if they make the wrong decision, like multiple times in a game, they're gonna lose.
Yeah.
And so like that, I think that's just what it is. It wins.
I never
It
saw
wins
it.
those
I
games.
never see it on a table. I don't think I've ever actually seen the Boba Fett
Yeah,
leader.
because you
on a
won
table.
round
I
one.
have. I
Once you
lost
win round
against
one,
it
you're
once.
good.
Yeah.
I lost against it once, and it required a multitude of draws for my opponent to have in order to win it. But I did lose to it. So
Yeah, they just have to roll natural 20 like 4 turns in a row. It's like it's just not a very good deck.
Yeah.
So Justin, I'll start with you. You know, of course, you made top 8, sick run. Seeing these top decks of like Han, Boba, Cad, Han, you know, there were various Hans all through there. Sabine, I think Vader was number like 6, Thrawn was
Yeah.
like number 7. Like it's like the same meta as Spain.
Right.
Are there any surprises there, do you think, or do you think it's kind of what you expected going in, you know, to
No,
the
we
event?
we definitely thought Han 2 Blue was going to be the most played deck, especially after like seeing some of the early PQ results. I always pronounce the name wrong, but is it Ian? Is it DeFi? Is it Delphi?
Yeah, DI-Fi.
DeFi. He like
I don't know.
crushed with the Han Blue and like was a 52 card special, and like that deck was definitely going to rise. We like expected that. We figured Cad would be there. I actually thought like I played Han and I expected Han 1 and I expected more Han 1 mirrors. I played one, but like I expected that deck to actually be a little bit more present. And one deck that I think the one deck we thought would be more present but wasn't was like a villain data vault deck, like a Kira data vault.
Kira, yeah.
I also expected more Kira.
Yeah, that deck really wasn't there at all. But
it just gets eaten by Han too.
yeah, I figured like the Kiani
It got better though. Like without Force Throw, that matchup got way better for Kira because like before they couldn't stick they couldn't stick a unit for Overwhelming Barrage because you could like -6 and then Force Throw and then clear the board. But like you play an 8/8 and now they just have the -6/-6 and it has 2 health left over and like you don't have that extra chip damage.
Well, one
So
did
then they
make top
stick a
8.
unit
Yeah.
and then you Overwhelming Barrage and like
and one did make top 8.
Yeah.
yeah, like I think that matchup got a lot better. Like Kiadi's obviously still messed up and draws them out of like they just have a million cards so they can keep up with Kira, but there is an avenue for Kira to win now.
Well, you're forgetting too. Mace is a huge card in that matchup because it lines up with the flip, right? It lines up with the flip OB, and it just kills it.
I don't know. I never played Mace 6 in Hantu Blue personally.
Yeah, there was some different.
I
ones.
also don't play it.
Wild.
I think
I don't. It's like
the one thing I would say about like the meta in general is like it's not like you load a deck and another person loads a deck and it's just like a simulator and like you sort of like, okay, this side's gonna win. I actually thought like the gameplay and like the sort of in-game stuff, not even like lines of like, you know, before it was like do this on flip with like do an early ECL in this matchup for Sabine and do so. It's not even about that. It's like analyzing the game. And it's so much about the actual game. It's almost like sports, right? Like if you throw an interception in the first quarter, you're gonna have to probably throw more to catch up. Like though the games are so interesting and like you can kind of develop and do things based upon how they're playing it. Are they attacking your base? Are they not? So to me, I thought like the meta, it's almost less about the meta and it's just more about like internalization and inside of the game itself, not even like a matchup. Like I played against a Han 2 Blue Dylan, who was undefeated at one point, and it was like I played it and I lost in 3, but I was like, okay, the next time I play it, I'm going to do this instead, and I actually really liked my plan. And Bobby got in the way of me ever getting a chance of redemption. It's a recurring theme, but like I thought about that, and that wasn't so much about like something you could type up on an article. It was like, all right, the way that he played it, I'm going to do this instead. So I think a lot of games actually pan out that way now.
Ian, what about you? How about your experience, your run? Any surprises?
Yeah. So I just brought back Kyle Tarkentown. Myself, Reflex, and Frank, who've been playing it since Worlds, just all ran it. We all made day 2, and then we kind of petered out on day 2. I was 8-2 going into the last 2 rounds, and then I lost both of them. My deck kind of just malfunctioned on itself. But like outside of those 2, like my other two losses from day one were just like people who just decided to ruin my day. Like I played against someone who had parliamentarians in their sideboard still. There was literally round one. It was a P at red, which was like already a not great matchup for Kylo because they kind of do the Boba thing but faster.
Yeah.
And like they just put these big ships in the way, and like it's just not great. Uh, she had parliamentarians in her sideboard, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I have these in my sideboard just for Kylo." And I'm like, "Who's going besides people on my team? Who is bringing this post force throw?" And like
Yeah.
our whole concept was that like we assumed people would take these cards out of their sideboard. So of course I get hit with that round one, lose. Then I go on like a 6-win streak, and then the last round I play against a Quinlan deck that's like double one drops. I guess that's like his thought process was go on one drops and go a little more aggro when I don't have force throw. But he was playing main deck Bamboozle and main deck Kit Fisto Ether Spray, which
Played
also
against
just
that was a wild
is
one.
so nuts against Kylo.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, all right, I guess my two losses are going to be to that, but I still made day two. I'm happy. I'm like, if I can go undefeated, I can make top 8. It's fine. And then, the last few rounds, my deck kind of peters out, which it's just fine. Like over a course of a tournament, that should happen eventually. It just didn't happen at the right time. But overall, like I don't know, the meta was kind of what I expected. Besides, like I thought Kira and Ray would probably be a little bit more in terms of numbers. But overall, the thing that I'm disappointed about in the meta, and I still think this is true post Bilbao as well, is that I just don't think that the force throw ban really did anything except allow Han 1 back into the format, which like probably a good thing just
Yeah.
because I like that deck and people like that deck. So like it's good for like people who want to play that deck or whatever versions of it. Like there's the blue version, the green version, what have you. Um, Outside of that deck coming back into the meta, the same decks are still there. Like there was a Quinlan in top 14 or I got like 14th at Bilbao,
Yeah. He was
right?
one win
Talzin
away.
won
Yeah.
Bilbao.
Yeah.
The 3 people from my team who played Kylo all made day 2 at Portland, right? Like so, and obviously Han 2 Blue is still a menace. Like there was 2 in the top 8 of Portland. I don't remember in Bilbao if there was any.
Three
It,
I
out.
assume
I don't.
I assume there had to have
It
been.
it
No,
definitely
there was
didn't.
three in Portland. You're right.
It didn't change the meta, but I think it did change the outcomes of a lot of these tournaments, right? Like,
Oh no, for sure. Like there's
like
obviously like differences in how matchups happen. I just
right.
meant like the reason that they banned force throw was because they thought aggression had too much of a meta share. Like the color red itself had too much of a meta share.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that's the case. Like Boba and Cad and Sabine all play aggression in their colors, didn't play force throw, and are all still in the top of the meta. Besides the decks that played force throw, who are still just here. Like to me, like the outcome that they wanted didn't happen outside of the negative play experience when you get like multi force thrown out of a game. Like sure, get that out of the game, that's fine. But if you want to actually shake up the meta, I think they needed to do more than just remove force throw.
Well, no force throw also allowed decks like Thrawn Data Vault and Kira Data Vault to be a little better, right? I mean, I don't think Thrawn Data Vault was very playable at all.
I
While
saw a
force throw
couple.
was
I
still
played
around.
against the Thrawn Yellow and like saw a couple more Thrawn Yellows. Like it was there, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they
Mike
stole
won
like
Well,
with Pal.
I mean,
2% from the decks that like people were getting off of force throw decks to go play, but there was
yeah.
still a lot of force throw, like decks that could have played force throw that were still present. So like,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's fine. Like I think it was fun to like play in this kind of like to me it's like a fake format just because it was like limited to how many like tournaments there
Yeah.
actually were for this, and it wasn't ever to be like the intended format. But like I wish that they had just done more. And like
Yeah.
maybe the answer is that they were afraid to do more because anything that they more is just banning set 1 cards, and like we have rotation and a new set coming
Yeah,
out.
in like 4 months.
So like
Yeah.
why bother? So like maybe it's fine that they just removed 1 card and just like, all right, let's see what they do with it.
Well, it's
I
good
guess
too.
maybe
Like,
I'm just disappointed in like the player base's reaction to it where we're all just like, what if my deck's like kind of just fine still?
well, they did also set 6 has some like early force units too, right? Like
Yeah.
It
upgrades
does.
in
Yeah.
that spot. So like if they didn't ban it, right? Let's say they just kept it. But I think what you're saying is they should have banned more, right? You're saying they
Yeah,
should have done
correct.
more.
I'm fine with them removing force, though. I just wish like more things were done to the meta. Like, I think Tarkin Town is still a problem, like in general.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, like maybe I'm on the basis that I think Han 2 should go, but that's mostly just from the design perspective of like you're just gonna keep making cards that are kind of messed up if you cheat it out with Han. And
Well, yeah, this goes back to like I think we said earlier on. I don't know if it was you, John. It said like, oh, well, Han 1's not that busted or whatever. I don't think it's the same with Han 2. Like, it's not that busted. It's just a very generic good ability that fits into whatever archetype happens to be the most powerful, right? You just find the most powerful synergies and you make it cost one less ultimately.
Yeah,
And
Han's
Han 2
always
does
been
the
like that. I mean, both
Man,
Hans
it's always
always
good
just
at
like
Hans.
all
play
game.
the best cards.
Yeah.
Tyler, what about you? Your experience, any surprises?
I played Han 2 Blue. As I came on the last episode 2 weeks ago, I talked about don't play Han 1. I will say I did have 2 games against Han 1, both Sunny and another player, where their deck did implode on them, and I just won for free. But that is just more of the funny thing that Han 1 keeps doing that I see. But I enjoyed the meta. Of course, I'm biased, and I was playing the most played deck, the best deck. The deck felt great to me. I only had some matchups where everything, like the one I played against Mike as well, and Palp Yellow. That's a very tough matchup. But I'm also okay with it being a terrible matchup.
Right.
He's got other different things. If I lose to it, I lose to it. There are other rounds I'm going to do, but I played well into everything else. I don't necessarily think we need a shakeup at this point in the metagame where we need to ban more stuff. Talking on the earlier topic, I think that Force Throw was not a fun card to play against for everyone else, and I support that feedback. I think that now that this is what the leaders we have, this is the defending our metagame. We have it for another 6 months, and then it'll be rotation. I could see, at least we'll talk down later, but Seekers of Power has a lot of good cards. We may just see a good enough shakeup just from this set. I feel like this is one of the sets, besides set 5 and Force Throw, that have genuinely themselves have changed the metagame. We'll see later.
We'll see.
My experiences though in Portland, tournament ran great. I had a fun time playing the rounds, and nothing too spicy that I saw. I also played against the Quinlan player and luckily beat him in day 2. It was very close. Grenade Strike did great to me, but yeah. Otherwise, Cad Bane looked very good into, I imagine, both Han 1 green and Han 2 blue. That was the bane of my existence. I prepared for Philly with the pro event, having those Grenade Strikes main, but sadly didn't play any of them, but didn't need it.
CJ, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it played out almost exactly how we thought it was going to. Like, I don't think there's anything surprising. Of course, like some of the decks that ended up winning or doing well, excellent meta calls, right? And even those decks that won, like you think of Towson or you think of Mike on Palp, like
We knew Mike was gonna win on Palp. Like,
yeah,
like
but like let's face it, he could have just gotten all the bad matchups. And like, yes, it's a better matchup, but right, he could have gone like hard aggro 3 rounds in a row and takes 1 and loses 2.
I mean, he
right?
got
like,
a good draw throughout the whole event. It just
right.
worked out.
A good example was
that's a great call.
Yeah,
it's a great call.
There's a Canadian player that was playing Palp Yellow. I think it's the reason why Mike played the deck that it beat my teammate
Charlie,
in New York, and he at Portland I think went like either 1 round or 3 rounds of like wins, and then like immediately X3 afterwards, and he was just gone in like the early like first 6 rounds of the tournament.
Yeah,
and it's
a great meta call, right? Like, and I think that's a fun part of this game, and that's one of those things that if Force Throw was still here, it wouldn't have been. I don't think it would have existed, because it's not like it was unfavored in these things, but Force Throw was one of those out cards that you had, right? As the Force Throw decks to the Palp, it helped you build an extra strategy of discard and some hand control, and also a big removal spell late. And you remove that, the matchup became even more favorable for Palp, allowed it to slot in, win a game. And I think ultimately, if you look back, I think it was a solid meta. Again, why is everyone playing Boba? I have no idea. Like, I still don't understand that one. It blows my mind. But overall, even the meta was diverse and it looked fun.
And like, one thing to add on is like the games. You talk about the meta, but like the games were more fun without Force Throw.
Yeah,
it wasn't so much like maybe the meta wasn't actually impacted, but like when I played Han 2, when I lost to Han 2, it was because an Ogdo Bogdo was attacking me, and like he played really good on turn 5. It wasn't because on turn 2 I just got like double Force thrown out of the game.
Yeah.
So like the games, even though the decks are still, I think to Ian's point, Ian's absolutely right. Like the Force Throw decks are still strong. Like you could basically just like what you guys did, you took out Force Throw, would you put in Daring Raid or whatever?
Yeah, it was just Daring Raid.
And like the games were just a little bit better. And you didn't walk to your friends after you won or lost and so yeah, I got Force Thrown, I got this. It was like actually more interesting lines and more interesting play. Like I talked to Dylan on Han 2 Blue and he was like, yeah, I don't play 6-drops on 5 resources. I actually try to play like double unit, and that's been really effective. And I was like, that's really cool. Like that's a cool like sequence and a cool like evolution of the deck, or maybe that's how the deck should have always been played. I don't know. I scrubbed at Worlds with it, but like, you know, it was just cool to hear like the sort of more nuanced things instead of, yeah, we started out Egalia and or Yaddle and then double Force Throw, and I lost my whole hand and lost my guy, and that's where my tournament ended. Like,
Yeah. I mean that's basically, I thought Portland went about as expected. I mean, I agree with all of you guys. I think that Kira and Ray and just blue green in general probably should have been represented a little more. But otherwise, I didn't really see any surprises. I thought Mike made a really good call. We talked to him the days prior to the event. Thought that it was a good call for him, and it just worked out. I mean, he played Sabine round one, I think, and he won.
yeah,
And then just got paired into a bunch of like mid range decks, and
And he barely beat Yako in like the last round as
he
well.
got a
crazy.
little lucky.
Just-
Mike
Oh yeah,
Mike
yeah.
will be the first one to tell you that was probably the luckiest he's ever been playing any card game.
and
I wasn't given for it, but he
It just
played it
worked
very
out.
well.
Yeah.
he played it very well. I missed my game one against him was like keep a 1-2-3 drop hand, and he like bazined the good one, and I had to play something less spectacular, and then I mulliganed a hand in game 2 with just 1 3-drop and no other turn 1 plays into 0 turn 1 plays, and it was still pretty close. So he ran close to the sun, and he ran hot, and he won it. He deserved it.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So that was really well done. Spain, we won't dive into Spain too much, but I do just want to point out that like Boba was the most played deck in Spain. It had like I think almost 70 people showed up with Boba, which was more than 10%. There were about 676 players, so right about 10% Boba.
How many made top 8?
I believe that is 0, just like every other event. Top 64. Let me see how many made top 64.
Not a lot.
3.
Oh.
Yeah, 3
That's
Is that a good? Is that a good
crazy.
conversion rate?
70 played and only 3 in the top 64.
Yep.
Please, people, stop playing this deck.
Playing this deck.
Especially next set when it gets better. Please don't play.
Yeah, I mean there were 12 Hans in the top 64, which is like Han 2, which is by far and away the most of any leader. But like
Even Cad Bane did really well overall. Had like third most or second most decks, and it had 6, so double of Boba's.
yeah,
I was actually surprised at how much Han 1 was at Bilbao, mostly just because I felt like Europeans didn't really like Han 1. Like when Han 1 was good, they were like
they weren't playing it. Yeah.
barely playing it, and when everyone in America was crushing with it. So like it just made no sense to me why they were never on the deck.
They definitely respect it, right? Because even Team Enigma, those like they were on Han 2, but they had scanning officers in their board.
Yeah, they
Like,
had different tech cards.
They knew and like they knew it was coming, so it must be enough.
Portland was the first time I've ever played Han 1, like, and I was like, oh man, this is cool as heck. Like, I was like, no wonder Alex is always like feels like he's on Ritalin and like squealing. I was doing some wild stuff. Like I get to resupply on turn 2 and play a 7-drop on turn 3. You get to do this all the time. Like no wonder you're so hyped.
That's kind of how I was with Ray at Minnesota. That was like the first event that I played Ray in, and I was like, oh man, this deck's so broken. I can play Akbar and do 6 damage. I can do this and that. Like this is sick. So it's always cool when you do things like that. But yeah, like there's really no like my biggest takeaway and biggest surprise from Spain is that the finals was Yoda green against Towson red, which is like pretty weird.
I thought Tip was in the finals with Han 2.
Yeah, it was Han 2 blue.
Han 2
Han 2
greens. Han 2 ECL.
That's right. The Towson beat the Han or the Yoda in the top 4. Yeah. So, but Sip, I mean, talk about Justin's run and Mike's run. Sip and Benton, they're always like right there too. Those guys are crazy. So
Those guys
like,
are wild.
definitely a few of the best players in the world. Like they're great guys. Love talking to them. So big congrats to them, and I'm sure we'll see them. At the next.
They owe
European.
me and Mike a drink. They were our +1s at the World FG content cocktail hour, and we waited for drink tickets and we gave them ours.
Philly, I don't want to talk too much about Philly because it was limited. I know
Well,
that.
before we get on to Philly, I want to say one last thing about Bilbao before we get away. What the fuck was that format? What were they doing with the
With the
limited
split stuff.
into
Yeah.
Premier? How could you make an event where players that are X1, X2 in limited are like, I don't think I want to stick in this, and I'm going to drop because if I don't drop, I cannot play the rest of, I can't play Premier. Why, if you're doing two formats, why would you make it that someone has to stay in and be locked in, or think about at a good position dropping? We had a whole conversation. Everyone here all saw of like me, my teammate Philip went X and 1 day one, and we had to spend like a half hour sitting there just telling him, you should stay, you should stay. I understand you like, the Han one, you're confident in it, and you're not confident playing draft, you should stay and draft tomorrow. You'll do it, you'll be fine.
They should just do what Magic does, and like that happened before in Magic. I think it was Paul Rietzel.
Yeah, Paul Reed did both.
Yeah, he somehow made day 2 at like
No, it was a
multiple.
GP. It was
Yeah.
he played the GP at a pro tour back in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. So he
pro tour at the
played
same
both events at the same time, which was kind of crazy.
There's
but, like,
another event
I
like
don't
that
know.
just
So,
happened the
hold on.
past weekend.
Isn't the solve for this though, like you just have both day 2s on Sunday? So like what you do instead is Friday it's limited day 1, Saturday
Yes.
it's constructed day 2 or day 1, right? And then
Mhm.
you can play in both those events. Let's say you make day 2 of both events. Well, before Sunday, you
You can
choose
pick.
which one you're going to play, and then you just play the respective day 2 of that event.
Yeah.
That makes
That would work completely fine.
There's
You could
definitely
also just
room to
And FFG
to
makes
grow
more
with
money.
it.
events.
Yeah,
Or
and
whoever's running the
Right,
event
because
gets
you have
money.
more people coming
we can
back,
talk about
right?
that on a later show too. We only have about 10 minutes left, and I
Yeah.
really want to dive into just some set 6 stuff that we've been working on.
Real quick on limited though.
Yeah, good.
I know that you're not necessarily the biggest fan. I
No, I
personally
love it. Good.
I think that Philly was an absolute blast. I know some people were like, "Oh, you don't open talls and you don't." There's so much gameplay and there's so much like theory crafting to have within it. Limited is awesome. I hope that this game finds spaces for people to explore limited and doesn't like tinker with it too much because this specific format had whatever some assumptions about like, oh, this card's super powerful or this card's super powerful. Like limited, people were loving it all on Saturday,
Yeah,
all
I
on
like it.
Sunday. It's not just people were loving on Sunday, like who were doing well. Like every game that we were playing, like people were having fun, they were laughing, they were
Yeah,
smiling.
I just wanted to play more.
Yeah, like
I
it was
enjoyed
that was my
myself,
goal. Like, I wanted to
but
play. I wanted day 2s. I wanted just to draft. Like
Yeah.
drafting is so much fun. Being able to look at the leaders and like see how it all plays out. I've heard some other like things like you should change the rules and do this. No, keep it how it is.
Yeah.
It is awesome. I'm
Just
super
Just
excited.
remember, Justin.
I'm gonna drive as much as I can to every limited PQ I can go to.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that for Premiere in the next
Yep.
set. I'm
Justin,
going to get every
how
single
did Ophir want to celebrate his top 4 at the World Championship?
by drafting.
Drafting.
Right away.
One of the draft.
Right.
And
But,
we drafted.
Just to wrap up Philly, Justin, of course, made his second top 8 in a row. Ian, I believe you missed a win and then to make day 2, right?
Yeah, I was 63rd.
Yeah, and then same for Tyler, right? You guys
Yep.
both missed your win and yeah. But like, great experience. Like there's a lot of variance there in seal deck, but it's still
Dude, my deck was busted too. I think I just played bad.
And you get to play.
Yeah,
my deck was not busted.
FFG.
I would want to say.
FFG puts out so many cards that are unplayable in Premiere, and Limited is a space where you get to play them, like Obi-Wan and like the leader, and just like so many random cards. You're like, this card does this, and they end up in decks, and then they do something, and you're like, that's so cool. Like this random Tauntaun, like attacked for lethal and stuff. Like there's just really fun stuff.
No, I mean that's great. So
I
we'll
love
jump
limited. I love
into,
draft. I want to before we go. I'm also on the devil's advocate side. I do think that there are issues with SWU limited, and we don't have to go into deep here. I would love to talk, further in another episode. I think there are issues with it. There are cards and stuff, and there are situations where you can get set up with that you just get absolutely destroyed, and it happens. But
that's
there
okay.
are gripes to it. Somewhat. If you win out, then you're feeling great. But I lost round 1. And I played against a bunch of people that were in the shitters and stuff, and people were not having a good time. And I
think I'm
know that people
somewhere
enjoyed
in between you and Justin, because I think that this game, while there are issues with it, it's better than what I've always had a problem with in Magic Limited, where like the games where you get like land screwed in Magic and Limited feel like so unwinnable.
Yeah.
Like if you just
Mhm.
only draw lands,
Yeah.
and like at least in this game, like that doesn't happen. Like yeah, you can miss a
No,
turn
I agree
one
with that.
and like you can lose because you don't have a turn one. But I also won a game where I didn't have a turn one in Limited.
Right.
So
I
like
also
there's
did too.
ways that you can use your skill as
Yeah,
a player
there's a
to
lot of
like
skill
combat that
expression
stuff.
in Unlimited.
There's ton of skill
I love it.
expression. I just don't want to say that it's a perfect situation. There are issues.
Yeah,
I
I
would
think
love to
the
discuss
leader
the issues
part
going
is
forward.
the hardest thing.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I talked with one of the FFG reps that was at Philly and had a really wonderful conversation with her. Her name was Bree. She's one of the newer organized play people, and she was super receptive to feedback. She gave me her email, so I would love to go to all the teams that went and just talk to people about issues that they might have, and then like send a big email about like here's what some of the top players are thinking about and how to make the format better. This included not just the like way Limited is done, but also like the round structure and like the top 64 situation and all that stuff too. So she wanted all the feedback for all that.
Yeah.
So people who are watching, if you have comments, put it in the comments.
Yeah,
They
like
can make it into the feedback.
I'll give it to them. They always at least listen to you. Now,
Yeah.
whether or not that translates like to actual results, and of course, it's not up to a lot of these people. There's a lot of hurdles and
I just noticed Tyler
corporate
has
red
0
tape.
points.
0
Yeah,
points.
keep me biased me. I'm speaking the truth.
There we go. I actually used the mute button for the first time in my life on Tyler.
I think
Wow.
you're right. It's great that
That's
they
funny.
listen. It's great that they
Yeah,
listen.
no, they do listen. It's just like they have to do better at translating. So, just real quick, I mean, we'll jump into set 6. We have like 5 or 10 minutes left here. I just want to call out. I was really down on set 6 for like the first month of
Same.
previews. Like, it was really boring. The cards were really lacking. I think. Like, I didn't really see a lot of like set building. The leaders were bad. I still think most of the leaders are bad, but the new mechanics are cool. Plot is awesome. I love playing with plot. Um,
Really changes the way the
yeah,
game plays out, which is
absolutely.
cool.
Plot's great.
Also, I don't know if you knew this, guys, but the full set list just
Yeah,
dropped
just
while we were
dropped,
recording
like,
this.
Oh,
right
did
now,
it?
recording.
Sick.
Yeah.
Guys, check it out. If you didn't know that already, it's probably on the website, right, Ian?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's on the
Card
website.
Builder. Sick. So it'll probably be on SwooDB here probably tomorrow. By the end of the week, I'd guess.
By the
So,
time someone watches this, it'll be up.
yeah, so we'll check that out. My favorite decks so far in set 6, as far as new decks go, have been the Chancellor Palpatine, the new one with Data Vault. That deck is sick. All the things you can do with plot and the Palp unit is just insane. And then also I've really liked writing Data Vault. So if people, CJ guys, if people want like a spot to jump in, if they're watching this thinking, okay, where can I start with set 6? What are some of your favorite things? What would you tell them? I'll start with CJ here.
Yeah, I would say for me, right, I think there's a couple core cards that I've noticed in core strategies. And this isn't what I think I like the most about set 6 is this isn't like, oh, this is a force deck. Oh, this is the smuggle deck or like whatever. They've always kind of focused in on one mechanic and there's been a new deck with that. And it's hard to fit some of those cards into the rest of the existing format. And this one, there's a lot of just really well statted and unique units and cards to use, right? So if I were to jump in, my favorite thing I'm doing right now is anything with aggressive negotiations, right? Like red gets a pump, right? Gets an action cheat pump. It's really powerful. You have to set it up a little bit, right? You have to build your deck around it, which is really unique. You want to try and use plot and a few ways to keep your hand full. You might even take some resources turns off, right? With cards like Kazuda, the unit, and a few other ways. But that's where I would start, right? For me, if you want to be aggressive, I like to play aggressively and I like to negotiate, So
Yeah,
that's probably-
Cinta's been really good too. I mean, you mentioned red, and you can't really.
Oh yeah, I
do
love Cinta,
red
but
without
Cinta is very specific. Does your leader cost 6? Does it go onto a ship?
Yeah.
Okay, then I would play Cinta.
Yeah, and she's pretty busted with pilots. Justin, how has your experience been with set 6?
I think similar to CJ, I think aggressive negotiations is really cool. Like it does open a new play pattern of like early claim, combined with like a shielded unit or something like that. Because then you can just open up and like not even resource and like I think you have to do math of like decks that maybe have it. Like, what happens if they just claim and they have it in their hand? Like, it's +2 from the 2 cards drawn, and then if they have a couple other cards in their hand, and that's one that I think is really great. I've been trying to use Cinta in non-pilot decks, like Anakin is something I've been looking at, like just trying to figure out ways to make him huge. Anakin's really interesting because like there's so many plot cards that work really well with him because you can go Cinta with him, but you can also go like either of the upgrade ones. If you go green, you can go the green or red one, and then you can also do like Jar Jar. So you can do both of those things and just make
Jar
a
Jar's messed up.
giant Anakin. Yeah, Jar Jar is so insane.
You should try off aspect palp.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's off aspect stuff too,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Like Galen is actually, I think, a card that you might see in some of these decks too. Like you can just flip him in like in an Anakin deck. But like, I think
sorry,
there's
go
also some crazy units. Like Kaz is like a 2/6 that attacks for 4 and then can attack for 6 sometimes. Like there's some really interesting stat lines on the units. At first, I was with you, Tata. Like I didn't think the set was that impactful, and I still don't necessarily think from like a rarity standpoint. There's like a like a legend that's gonna like move the price up. I do like the Amidala. Both you and I like that card, but
Yeah.
like I think there's like a lot of random staples that just change the way the game's gonna get played. Like Jar Jar. Like Jar Jar is just a card that's just gonna change the way that leaders flip because any green deck can play him and just make a bigger leader right away.
Yeah.
And plot is like it's like smuggle was so impactful, like just smuggling out like not even a tech, but just smuggling out like a L37 is like
Yeah.
like
It's messed up that
best cards in this set.
yeah, sorry, good
Card
CJ.
games
I
are
was
always
gonna-
most fun when you have more options available to you.
Yeah.
And so when you have like these special actions that now take place when you flip your leader with plot cards, games will just be more fun. So it's nice to see where they're pushing forward with all the new cards.
Well, and you think about a card like Jar Jar, right? Like what's so cool about a card like that is like, oh, it's a 2/1, but let's see, it allows me to flip my leader. Let's say I flip Sabine. I can now play around both takedown and power of the dark side, right? From my resource row for 2 resources.
Yeah, for no cards. Like you
For
just,
no card in hand.
yeah.
Like and like it
Power of the
changes the
Dark
map.
Side is sad this set. I will tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, especially with all the
stocks
tokens.
are,
Like,
All the
stocks are
spies.
way down. So
Spies.
I think it's messed up, and I am thrilled that they're kind of finally pushing the envelope somewhat. But I am like shocked that they actually went with Jar Jar as a 2 cost and the Palp unit as a 3 cost. Like that 3 cost Palp unit might be the best card in the set. Like honestly, it's played in so many things. Like for 5 resources, I can make 3 bodies, 2 sentinels, guard my leader. Like it's just it's nuts. So Ian, go ahead about your thoughts on set 6.
yeah, I mean, there's like so many messed up things that I have been trying to play around with. I haven't really gotten a chance until this week to really mess around with
Yeah.
a lot of it, but there's a card that just was in the list of all the cards that just came out, and it's a 2 cost yellow card that's an
That card's
05,
busted.
and it just says tap exhaust a
Not a
resource.
Yeah, not great. Not a great.
If you have
I haven't seen
initiative,
anything yet, so
if you have initiative and you play this guy, you can just take your opponent off curve on turn 2.
Yeah.
Which seems absolutely broken. I
he
got
is a
pinged like 3
3
different
cost?
times in my team chat
Oh,
about
it's
this
a 2
card.
cost. I
While
don't
we-
understand this. I don't understand how they printed this card.
Yeah, it's a 2
really
cost
don't get it.
05, and it's
Yeah.
just tap exhaust a resource.
You better win the die roll and.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, so you have
kinda
that, and you have wrong ride. I'm just gonna try to make my opponent miserable
play some
yellow
messed
deck
up deck, yeah.
and see what
Isn't that-
happens. I don't know if it's gonna be good, but my
I
opponent's
mean,
gonna be mad about it the whole time.
Going back to
Yeah.
like my Magic
Blood
career, I played a lot of like Death and Taxes and tax style
Yes.
decks.
Yeah.
So like having those cards in Star Wars now is like making my brain going like, okay, what can I do with this? So that's pretty sick. I hadn't seen that card yet. That sounds busted.
I mean,
I'll
it came
have
out
to
while
go
we were
through it.
recording
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
So.
It's messed up that it's an 05. Like you can't.
Yes,
even
it
play
lives through like everything.
It should be like an 02. Like okay, at least it dies after next. Like,
Yeah.
Daring Ray Tarkentown, baby. That's
Yeah,
Daring Ray Tarkentown.
Yeah, that
That
thing
stuff.
might see many Tarkin towns, but we'll
I'll have
we'll
my
see.
MIGs ready.
Yeah, Tyler, set 6. Come on, give me all of your knowledge on all of your extensive set 6 testing. Come on, hit me.
Well, Tata, I've been at too many events recently and have not spent so much time playing, but the few cards that I have seen from passed around in my team chats and stuff, uh, a lot of things are interesting and fun. I do enjoy the plot. I'll tell you, I'll be trying Cassian a whole bunch. I would like to see how die roll Cassian feels, because if you just go first, I feel like that deck's going to be good,
I don't
and
know.
it's
Here's
probably
my
going to be
hot
good at
take. All
7.
right, here's my hot take.
Right now, I don't think it's good because
Cassian,
Force Lightning.
unplayable. The card's unplayable. I mean, people I know were so hype about it. Like
I don't know.
6
I don't
cost
think
aggro leader. Like someone's really gonna have to prove to me
Not
that that
seeing him
card
either.
can
it
be.
I
has
do
an
think
effect
that
that would last the
it's
entire time.
it's nice
Like,
that it's a passive effect that's always on. Like the
yes.
only time I think we've gotten those effects is when it's like you could ignore aspect penalties, which
Yeah.
like doesn't really impact the board. At least this one does. But to me, this is just a third sister leader for hero. It just
Exactly.
gives your guys
Yeah.
hidden, right?
Hidden.
Like
Yep.
it's just third sister, and she wasn't meta relevant. Like
Right.
I don't know why this would be.
Like yes, I'm sure someone might comment like, "Oh, it's not really hidden." Yes, I know. It's kind of like a delayed hidden. But like it's still hidden. Like it's still like, "Oh, I can't attack your guy." Fine, whatever. But I don't know.
Things can
And
change
it's a
very
good
slightly
keyword.
and go from
It's just
broken
I
to
don't.
be good.
Yeah,
It's a
I've-
good keyword. I just don't want my leader's entire identity to be that.
So
I agree.
I shouldn't have been looking, but I'm mono red player now. So
Oh, that 2/6 is also messed up, right?
That 2/6 is busted as heck.
Yeah. So
What?
right after this episode, we'll probably jump in a voice chat with some of the team and kind of talk about this. But like, I'm pumped for set 6 now.
I can't wait to tap someone's red mana so they can't play this 2/6 on turn.
Look, I know
What,
Chrono's
you
been
think
playing
they live through
Deidre,
my
and I
Tarkin
think
Town turn one?
I
Get
think
outta here.
Deidre Tarkentown is gonna want to play that double.
Oh,
red
you
card.
think?
Yeah,
It-
that's true. Might be one of our Beatle decks. So that's something we'll talk about in a future episode. It's like trying
Battle
to
is going
find
to be
3
wild.
decks. Yeah, trying to find 3 decks for the
It's
team event. Like, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
yeah. If
so-
everyone's
I'm
excited
so
to watch
excited
some
for Beatle,
games,
man.
Beatle is going to be the event to watch. That team event with unified deck construction, the decks are going to be wild. Last event, last year it was great, but almost everyone played a Django and something else. Add to it, most likely a Han. This
Now it's
time,
kind of wide
it's going
open.
to be spicy. The 3 decks
Wild
that people
West.
will bring are going to be
Yeah.
wild.
So that event is 1 month from today, November 15th weekend. So be sure to tune in for that. We'll talk about that here on the next episode. We'll probably talk about Beatle a little bit more. But that's going to wrap up this episode. I feel like we kind of provided a lot of good feedback for the company. Talked about a lot of set 6. Justin, I don't know how it happened. It just, for
Woohoo!
some reason, you ended up with the most points.
Well, I know how it happened. Bobby Sapphire was not on to steal my
Exactly.
shot.
I was going to say Mike wasn't here to steal all of your points and your victory. So how it works is you can have 30 seconds. You can do some shout outs, whatever you want to do. All you.
Shout out to my KTOD guys, Professor Numpty, for having me on, and Chrono. This was cool. It's the first time I've actually been on like a different show. And this is really neat to kind of be flipping this other side of the camera. So shout out to other content creators. Todd, I know you're part of the KTOD team, and CJ, you too, but just kind of for building the community. And shout out to FFG for running the sectors. I'm super pumped for the announcement on the 28th, 29th, 30th, whatever it is, about the next wave. Like I can tell you, and I think this partially it's from doing well and top 8ing and, going undefeated on the first day of draft or what have you, or sealed. But I'm excited to play the game. Like I am really hyped to play. We had a great time, like seeing the other teams, like, Tyler and Ian, like seeing you guys there, and like, just like that competitive competition amongst teams, like friendly competition is great. So I hope this can continue. I hope they can keep pushing the envelope on what they're doing, and that, the regionals continue to run, can run a little smoother on when they come around to the United States side of things. And it's just that I'm excited for OP. And I think it hasn't always been that in that space for me. It's like OP wasn't great, coming out of Denver, it just felt a little rinky dink. But now they're hitting their stride. There's a few things they need to figure out, but now I'm excited to play the game.
Yeah, it's great. So I'll say that the next time we record will be the day of the announcements for sectors. So we'll have a lot to talk about there. Maybe try to get a special guest on or something to talk about that. And then hopefully you'll see us all there. So until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
See ya.
See
Damn
ya.
Tyler. Mine